The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed in this commentary belong solely to the author and do not necessarily represent the views of our company, management, staff, or our affiliates.
In a virtual panel discussion hosted by the Guyana Teachers Union, Dr. Vincent Adams reportedly lamented the fact that teachers have to protest for better pay in oil-rich Guyana. In making his point, he goes on to argue that Grenada, a spice-producing nation, is paying their teachers more than what obtains in Guyana. Often, these types of argumentations are conveniently framed within a certain conceptual perspective in mind. But context is typically omitted, though crucial to the larger appreciation and understanding of the reality of the situation at hand, and more so the relevance. In this commentary, I will delve into the contextual analysis which was omitted from the discourse and conclude with a proposal for the stakeholders to consider. The tagline that Guyana is an oil-rich country has the proclivity to drive certain expectations not often grounded in realism and pragmatism. The fact of the matter is that it is not today that Guyana is an oil-rich nation. The oil was always there beneath the Earth's surface within the sovereign geographic space called Guyana, millions of years now. It was only recently that this resource, known as crude oil, was discovered in commercial quantities, just about 9 short years ago, after about 15 years of exploration. Following discovery, it took another 5 years to monetize the resource, inter alia, the commencement of the production phase. Guyana's oil wealth in terms of proven reserves currently stands at an estimated 11 billion barrels, worth an estimated US $832 billion at current price. Production, however, began less than 5 years ago. To date, only 3% of the total proven reserves, valued at US $42 billion or 5% of the total present value of the proven reserves, have been extracted. Moreover, the government's share of the revenue, inclusive of projected earnings for 2024, is an estimated US $6 billion or 0.7% of the total present value of the proven reserves. That is, less than 1% of the total value of proven reserves that Guyana has earned thus far. On a point of correction, Dr. Adams posited that Guyana has the highest GDP. Guyana's GDP is not the highest. The GDP growth rates are the highest of recent and the projected growth over the medium term. The country with the highest GDP is the United States of America, with a GDP of an estimated US $28.8 trillion. The high GDP growth rate in Guyana is attributed to the scale and rapidity of increased levels of production in the oil and gas sector from a position of 120,000 barrels per day since first oil to over 600,000 barrels per day in 2024. Consequently, production has increased fivefold since first oil in less than 5 years, and the oil economy is twice the size of the non-oil economy. It is important to note, though, that the high double-digit GDP growth rates will revert to the single digit in the period post-2030, by which time oil production is expected to plateau. Peak production is anticipated to be in the region of 1.3 million barrels per day by 2027-2030. With respect to the reference to Grenada, it is interesting to note that in April 2023, the Grenada government and the Grenada Union of Teachers inked a multi-year agreement for salary increase and other fringe benefits covering the period 2023 to 2025. This agreement was followed by successful negotiations that commenced in December 2022. This is a very good example for the Guyana counterpart to follow which is on the table from the government side. The government has made it clear that it would not be feasible to enter into a multi-year agreement for previous years, which is the proposal that the GTU has put to the government, covering the period 2019 to 2023. The government of Guyana has openly disclosed that they are willing to negotiate a multi-year agreement covering the period 2024 to 2027 or 2024 to 2029. In my very next commentary, I will contextualize Grenada's spending on education, juxtapositioned with Guyana, and offer context that escapes the likes of Dr. Adams.
The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed in this commentary belong solely to the author and do not necessarily represent the views of our company, management, staff, or our affiliates.